Hey everybody, Serbo Dodger here. Thanks for checking out this video, which is part of my catch-up series for my live stream of Tyranny. So if you're enjoying watching this, obviously you can either subscribe to this channel and you'll find loads more, or come and stop by twitch.tv/Serbo Dodger, where you can catch me doing it live. Thanks a lot, enjoy the show.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spy master and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tyranny, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tyranny brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
And here we are on everyone's favourite screen. It is, of course, the character creation screen. Oh, what fun you can have on a character creation screen. Let's jump straight in. So I have, as I say, I've had a play around with the kind of character that I want to make. So we're going to get straight on that right now. So we're going to go for something a bit more like myself. Yeah, let's go for that. We're happy with that. Now, very quickly, what we're going to do is we're going to jump along to the tattoo, which I have chosen for him as well. And that will form the basis of our appearance there. Do I want it in that order? Or do I want it in that order? Well, let's go ahead and sort him out in that way there. That is... Let's see, which was the face that we like. I think that's the one for us there. Portrait-wise, that one will have to do. I think we'll go for no voice. Ooh, the silent protagonist, eh? So, of all of the backgrounds, I really like the pit fighter, so we're going to go for that. I tell you what, we're going to go for that. So, not wishing to pay to feed and house two. The madam that purchased your mother sold you to the Proving Grounds, the Northern Empire's bloodiest, most notorious fighting arena. Given only enough training to assure the show isn't over too soon, your natural prowess and survival instinct led you to one victory after another. There was no elegant swordplay, no formalised duels, just brutal melee and the stench of blood, shit and bronze with each day's gruesome necessities. It is said that any fighter that slays a dozen others in the Grand Melee is given her freedom, but in 300 years only 3 warriors have ever walked away from the Proving Grounds. When the closing horn sounded and 13 corpses lay about your feet, you became the 4th to be granted freedom to thunderous applause. But this autonomy was short-lived. Within days, word of your accomplishment made its way to the Archon of Justice. We are going to create an out-and-out beast. We're going to be rocking the good old-fashioned greatsword. We're also going to be rocking the good old-fashioned War Mace as well, so we've got the crushing and the slashing damages whenever we decide to flick back and forth between the two. We're going for our colour scheme of green and black. I think even dark green and dark green looks pretty good with the black highlights on the armour there, to be fair. Maybe that's the one for us. Let's go for that and see how things work out. The banner, of course, must represent the same thing, and I think I liked, well, which one was it? That one. Like that. Whoops. There we go. The old black and green. In fact, is that better like that? I think it possibly is, to be honest with you. So there we have it. Of course, this is Rag. So I had a little play around with the stats, and I think I want to do something like that. Maybe that. So we're going to get ourselves a 15% extra attack and ability strength, and we get the endurance defense as well, which is going to resist physical attacks for us, which is always going to be handy. Jumping onto the next screen, obviously we're going to just jack that straight up there. Call me crazy, that's what I want to do. I'm going to jam a few points into athletics, and of course parry. Who doesn't want to be, in fact, to be honest, maybe what we do is executing complicated moves in combat. So it's pretty important, but parrying is also going to be quite important for us as well. So we're going to do that, essentially. So we are going to conquest. Of course we're going to conquest. Conquest is what we're going to do.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. Two armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the gates of... wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Okay, so here we go. This is the conquest phase of the game, where basically our actions determine how our character's backstory runs, essentially. So we have some decisions to make. So the Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the Tears. Built upon a natural harbour at the crossroads between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tears, it was the centre of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' armies. Taking this city would send a message to the rest of the Tears. Kairos' will is insurmountable. So how do we want to do this at the Bastard City then? We have two options. We can infiltrate the Tears. History would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of the conquest. But the real combat unfolded with advanced units of both armies preparing for the coming war. The Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which did you join? Or we can take the fight to the gates, essentially, and decide which way we want to go. So, we can join battle along the Scarlet Chorus there. Or do we want to raid the villages and small towns, conscripting every able-bodied man and woman into the army? The voices of Narat emphasise the rewards of conscription and enslavement over wanton bloodshed, and apparently his soldiers needed the reminder. So I think what I will choose here is we'll begin things with this move here, and we will rush in with the chaotic mass of the Scarlet Chorus, flanking the Bastard City's armies and driving them to flee. So we caught the mercenary army unprepared for the mania and disorder of the Scarlet Chorus. Our forces overwhelmed the Tyr's defences in a few short hours, hacking and burning their way into the continent. Any mercenaries who survived the battle found themselves initiated into the Scarlet Chorus, tortured by ruthless interrogators, or made the sport of competition as the army marched ruthlessly forward. So that's the one that we're going to go for just there. Now then, we can feed the host. Against the most optimistic projections, the disfavoured and Scarlet Chorus made short work of the local defences. They did so well that the armies quickly outpaced their supply caravans. Troops were plentiful, but food was scarce. You only had time to execute one plan to secure provisions. So, do we want to look at that road, or do we want to judge the enemy? The soldiers of the Tyrs fell by the hundreds, and Kairos' armies could not agree on how to handle what few survivors they dragged back to the camp. Befitting your role, the commanders turned to you to decide the fate of those who occupied prison pens. There were only enough prisoners to support the plan of a single army. So we can use those to recruit for the chaos, or the disfavoured need slaves to help them. But that would surely give us more mouths to feed, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to opt to side with the Scarlet Chorus and feed the host. Only too pleased to follow up on this particular order, the Scarlet Chorus divided up the outlying farms and villages among their gangs and set out to collect provisions. Though they returned with wagons laden with supplies, the terror and destruction sowed in their path boosted morale and ensured that everyone from the Bastard City to Stalwart knew their name. The armies of Kairos amassed around Bastard City, the first bastion of the Tyrs to fall. Both armies longed to storm the walled outpost. The Scarlet Chorus howling for plunder, and the disfavoured forming an unbreakable shield wall. Your prowess on the field of battle had carried them this far, but there was one more step before total victory. Both of the armies had inspired schemes to take the Bastard City. Which did you support? Well now, we actually are going to gain abilities here based on what we choose. So this is one area where I'm not actually such a fan of the way this works out. And let me explain what I mean. Here, I'm not making a decision based on which tactically sounds the best, or what storyline sounds the best, or what role-playing scenario sounds the best. I'm actually going to end up choosing which ability I think sounds better and let that decide for me. So actually, I'm not really making a decision there. What would be better is if you were treated to this reward based on whichever choice you like, and then no matter what happens, you'd be like, sweet, I got a cool ability, in my opinion. So, we can burn damage over time, 8 to 15 versus magic, and then they are afflicted for 9 seconds. Something that might be useful in the short term. How useful would it be long term? I'm not sure. Once per encounter, and that would be once per encounter as well, right? No, that's just every 24 seconds. Once per encounter, we lose 50% damage, but gain 15% health. 15% health every 3 seconds for 12 seconds. So yeah, basically heal 50% around. So that's interesting. And then we have this one here. We can do it once per encounter. We get 100% graze deflection for 12 seconds. We lose 100 accuracy. We gain 200 dodge for 12 seconds and 200 parry for the same amount of time, and recovery 3 seconds total. So yeah, it's alright, I suppose. I don't know how I really feel about it, to be totally honest with you. Let's go for this one, I suppose. If we need a heal in an emergency, we've got that option just there. With heroic courage and legendary determination, the disfavoured battered the gates of the Bastard City to splinters. Those who fell under the consistent hail of arrows or cascades of boiling pitch left the battlefield temporarily, only to appear hours later as Arkan Graven Ash's protection healed their numerous wounds. In time, the gates gave way, and Kairos' forces spilled inside the city walls with resounding cheers of victory. And that is how the Bastard City fell. So where do we want to go next? That is our choice. The bastard city settled into a new state of normalcy, with every tower displaying Kairos' banner. Your name was whispered among rumours of a decorated career to come. The armies divided into two fronts and migrated south. Tunon sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kairos' conquest, either as a judge and overseer of the settlement of Leviathan's Crossing, or as a war advisor, with the armies advancing into the realm of the Apex. Well, I don't think we'll sit back. I think we'll march on to the Apex. There really is nowhere good to have that, is there? At this moment. The mountain nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the queens of House Vendrian, stood at the heart of the tiers. No army could bypass that landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, the disfavoured and Scarlet Chorus had pushed deep into the tiers. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tunon assigned you to accompany them, tasked with bringing Kairos' law to the territory, as well as keeping an eye on both armies. So, let's see what we got then. We have a school of water mages loyal to the Tearsmen posed a substantial threat. The disfavoured wished to annihilate the school, while the Scarlet Chorus insisted on capturing the mages, wishing to learn of their craft. Or the Battle of Edgering Pass. The disfavoured sent their most destructive ally to crush Edgering Fort. Cairn, Archon of Stone, buried the stronghold under an avalanche triggered from the surrounding mountains. The Scarlet Chorus were promised captured enemies for recruitment, yet none survived the onslaught, and the Chorus demanded compensation. So I think what we'll do is we'll take those mages. We side with the Scarlet Chorus and order the Mage Elders taken alive for interrogation. Though countless lives were lost taking the mages into custody, the Scarlet Chorus praised your name as they dragged the beaten elders of the school to the voice of Neras's tent. As a wave of screams and incoherent pleas reached their crescendo, the Scarlet Chorus soldiers outside cheered for their Archon. The disfavoured adjourned to their camp in grim silence, claiming the Chorus lacked the will and desire to fully wipe out all traces of the enemy school. And that's what happened. So now we can decide the fate of an enemy captain, or we can poison a well. Hoping to break the siege, Scarlet Chorus agents poisoned the Apex water supply in secret. Days later, uninformed disfavoured scouts died of illness. Outraged by the failure of communication, the disfavoured demanded that the Chorus agents be turned over to them for punishment. That's pretty interesting stuff. Or what do we have over here? We have a captive captain. Now, when Kairos' forces captured a celebrated enemy hero, the armies bickered over his fate. This disfavoured wanted him set free to convince his peers of Kairos' mercy. The Scarlet Chorus wanted him flayed and staked as an example. So we can set him free, send him back with a message. All those who surrender or cooperate will be treated with deserving respect as subjects of Kairos' peace. Or do we execute him and have his remains fashioned into a terrifying display? I actually think in this instance, I quite like the idea of that. So let's send him back. Shocked by your clemency, the enemy captain vowed to deliver his message in full and paid his respects before departing for his encampment. Though typically more uncompromising, the disfavoured praised your innovative thinking. The Scarlet Chorus despised what they viewed as resources wasted only to release a known enemy back into the wild. The fall of Apex. With the defeat of Apex and inevitability, the armies of Kairos met to discuss how to put an end to this stage of the conquest. Both armies agreed to send an offer of parley. Along with their acceptance, the enemy requested that you appear at the meeting. Word of your fair dealings had apparently spread word to their ranks. How did you orchestrate the surrender of the realm of Apex? Well, let's see. Through days of meditation, you negotiated the surrender of the valley to Kairos' forces, putting an end to further bloodshed, or taunting the Queen of Apex into striking you under a banner of truce. You baited the Queen of Apex into a duel and slew her, frightening her vassals into submission. Seems a bit cowardly, that, doesn't it? Seems a little bit weak to force someone to fight you. And then we can just negotiate surrender. Oh, we'll go for that one. We've already pissed off the Scarlet Chorus moments ago, so let's do that. Because they are the ones that we're probably going to side with more so over the course of things. The Scarlet Chorus urged you to show the Overlord's strength by any means necessary. During peace talks, a well-placed insult goaded the Queen of Apex into striking you. You responded to the slight by challenging her to a duel. Though the Queen was skilled in battle, your field experience outmatched her court training. As her body lay cooling on the ground, you demanded that her followers kneel before the Overlord's banner. Unable to rise above the fear of the moment, the remaining leaders capitulated, surrendering the valley to Kairos' forces. And that is how Apex fell. We have one more to do. Now we have a choice to make. We can go to one of three places. There is Azure. There is Stalwart. It's an easily defended position with rich military tradition. Or the Vellum Citadel. It contains treasures, knowledge, and secrets. So we're going for that one. And this is the third year of Kairos' conquest. The Vellum Citadel was an archive and library of massive scale. Its inhabitants were known as the School of Ink and Quill, a circle of mages that centuries ago carved out their own mountainous refuge on lands unsettled by the other major realms. Legend said that the Citadel housed a treasure trove of arcane knowledge. The Overlord's spies infiltrated the school and confirmed as much. The time was ripe to send a detachment to the great library fortress and force the scholars to yield to Kairos. So we have a couple of things that we can do. We can allow Sirin, the Archon of Song, to use her power to enthrall enemy mages who creep beyond the Citadel walls. After Kairos' forces rounded up the arcane practitioners, the disfavored began executing the new captives before they could share dangerous knowledge, a crime under Kairos' law, with the Scarlet Chorus. So that is certainly an option for us to explore there. Or do we want to look at the chain of command? A detachment of Kairos' army marched on the Vellum Citadel, expecting an orderly surrender. As they neared the main gates, a blast of arcane energy struck the commanders dead. Suddenly, the highest ranking officer alive, Kairos' forces looked to you for the next steps. The call weighed on your mind as it had an immediate influence on soldier losses. So let's go for this. It's all action, it's all kicking off. Now we can order the expendable Scarlet Chorus to attack, giving the elite a chance to withdraw. Or do we want to send the disfavored to advance the shield wall, knowing that a handful of Kairos' elite soldiers could hold off the attack until the Scarlet Chorus retreated? Now we know that the disfavored will hate that, because they don't like the Scarlet Chorus, but it's the option that we're going to choose, and this is the outcome of it. The disfavored were quick to follow your command and formed an unbreakable phalanx that gave the unarmoured Scarlet Chorus horde a chance to escape. Only once they returned to camp did the singed and maimed disfavored take issue with their orders. As far as they were concerned, the Scarlet Chorus should have taken care of themselves. If they weren't equal to the challenge of defending their brethren, then they had no place in this conquest, which is a fair point. Alright, another choice. The choice between Plunder of Parchment or Lost to the Mountains. So in this instance, the disfavored learned of a hidden enemy enclave and sent scouts to locate it. They never returned from the mission. The remaining disfavored soldiers demanded that you send the Scarlet Chorus to retrieve their scouts. But the Scarlet Chorus flatly refused to fall into the same trap. They recommended that the scouts be treated as wartime casualties. Interesting. So we can abandon them, we can send the Scarlet Chorus to rescue them, or we can look at the Plunder of Parchment. The army captured a supply caravan overflowing with arcane books. When the disfavored started a bonfire of forbidden texts, the Scarlet Chorus rescued the tomes from the flames and attacked. So we don't want to destroy the texts. Why would you? Why would you ever do that? So we could decree that the disfavoured are welcome to burn their half of the plunder, but the Scarlet Chorus has rightful claim to the other half, provided you first reviewed the text to eliminate any that touched on forbidden knowledge. Forbidden knowledge, eh? What might that be? Or we can consign the scouts to their fate. If the elite of the army could not return on their own, there was no sense in wasting their lives to find them. Or do we send the Scarlet Chorus to go and get them? Because we did side with the disfavoured earlier, with the Scarlet Chorus earlier on. Yes, we do. Though the Scarlet Chorus were bitter at having their time wasted in search of lost soldiers, grandstanding before their rivals in the disfavoured was an opportunity too delicious to ignore. Draken the Legion yielded them to the sight of an ambush where spell-slinging mages had the last of the disfavoured scouts pinned down. After launching a successful counter-attack, the chorus escorted the shaken and humiliated disfavoured scouts back to camp. Success. Now we have the Edict of Fire. Food and morale dwindled as the siege party realised the enemy would win this war of attrition. Tunon sent word that Kairos' patience had run thin. The Overlord would cast an Edict of Fire on the enemy. The parchment arrived in a slender case of engraved iron. Written on it, the words of a spell powerful enough to destroy the Vellum Citadel. You had the choice of when to read the edict. Reading it at sunrise would offer your enemies no warning of the devastation to come. You could also wait until sunset, giving them ample time to flee or make amends. So, we can give them no quarter, or we can use a little bit more logic, I would argue, and side with the Scarlet Chorus, who, claiming they still had spies within the Citadel, the Scarlet Chorus urged you to warn the mages of the Overlord's edict. Granting their request, you met with the enemy under a blue flag of peace and warned them of their doom, giving the Chorus spies and the enemy a chance to run. You confronted the mages with a warning and hoped the message was received. The hour before sunset, numerous fighters were spotted fleeing the Citadel. As the sun dipped under the horizon, you read the words of the edict. The earth shook and red-orange light glowed in the foundation of the sprawling citadel. Bubbling up from under the library, a torrent of lava heaved with explosive force, gushing from windows and between loose bricks, melting winding trenches in the surrounding land. Days later, the flames still raged on. The conflagration continually fed and renewed by the power of the edict. And that is how the Vellum Citadel fell. So, the armies of Kairos left the devastation of the Vellum Citadel in silence. From that day forward, the tears came to know the once noble citadel as the Burning Library. This was an undisputed loss of resources, knowledge, culture, and life. But a message had been sent. The Overlord will not tolerate defiance. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. You were one of the last to depart from the mountains, and as you journeyed off, you spotted a few campfires in the mountains. They were mere specks dwarfed by the inferno, the last gasps of survivors, or perhaps looters from Kairos' armies bored and daring enough to pick through the ashes. I don't think we'll replay it, I think we'll carry on.
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time, and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons. Crush the Oathbreakers, or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Let's do this. Fatebinder Rag, I presume. We've been expecting you. So let's just see how we want the camera to go. Maybe we'll plop it down just there for now. See if that gets in the way. Let us know what you think, guys. If that's not a nice place for it to be, you just give me a heads up and we can sort that out. Welcome to the stream. We've done all the reading bits for now, so let's just crack on with some action, says I. Kairos the Overlord be praised. When I heard the avalanche, I feared the valley was sealed with you on the other side. The disfavored warrior clasps her gauntlet to her breastplate, the traditional salute of her legion. I was hoping Tunon would send the Queenslayer, if only to see the look on the Oathbreakers' faces when they see you in the flesh again. Let's see. I come bearing an edict of Kairos. Our soldiers will complete their task or die. The edict is levelled against us. Her eyes widen with fear, her posture slackens. But the Scarlet Chorus prevents us from taking action. Why would the Overlord punish both of... She clears her throat with a sigh. Forgive me. It is not my place to question. We should have conquered the enemy within weeks of arriving in the valley. The delay reflects poorly on all of us. Let's see. Ooh, your first instinct is to blame the Scarlet Chorus. No wonder Kairos resorts to an edict to enforce order. Oh yeah. Yes. Well, her eyes shift to the side. There has indeed been little goodwill between our armies, and you are right. When we act as we do, what choice do we give the Overlord? She takes a deep breath, nodding as she exhales. And you are right. I should not cast blame so freely, especially not when talking to a servant of justice. My apologies. Well, you've travelled a long way, and I won't keep you any further. I'm sure the Archons will want to hear from you. Her voice falls silent, her attention snapping eastward with alarm. Did you hear that? More runners, third time this week. The Oathbreakers keep trying to send messengers through the mountains to gather help from outside the valley. She points over to the collapsed path by which you arrived. But they're a bit too late for that now. Come, let's show the Oathbreakers a good fight. Oh yes, I will. Ah, hey, Norali85, welcome to the stream. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, you picked a good time. We're just getting going, so welcome. Okay, yeah, we know a little bit about the combat here. I think I just want to look at this, though. One of our skills has gone up, eh? Nice, 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 nice. Okay, well then, shall we? Let's see how to begin. Well, I suppose Sundering Armour is an excellent way to start any combat. Yeah, take that armour, and now we'll go for this. Oh, I think that cleave just actually attacks all the enemies in the circle, which is not necessarily of any use in this one-on-one encounter. And he should drop fairly soon now, I would have thought. There we go, lovely stuff. Lovely stuff indeed. Let's see what he's got on him. A whetstone. Man, how valuable that item would be if I was playing the Long Dark again. But right now, I'm not. First playthrough is exactly correct. Yeah, this game is amazing. Have you already finished it? The avalanche has us blocked. Think you could fit through the rubble? I can fit through anything. We should be vigilant and deal with the remaining Oathbreakers in the pass. Well. Carry on. So, we can squeeze through the gap, or we can move the boulder. Press your weight against the boulder directly in your path until it starts to move. Yeah, I think so. See ya. Alright, let's head over here. So we can go for this little cheeky move, I think we shall. Oh, lovely stuff, look at that. And then I guess if we'll continue to attack this one, fell that one, and then we shall carry on. There we go, looking good. I know I haven't sundered the army yet, but I suppose there's no time like the present. Boom, look at that. Actually, you know what? I would like to be attacking with my other weapon now. How do we make that happen? Weapon sets. Go for that one. There you go, big guy. You doing another route on your next playthrough? Yeah, absolutely. I believe they've designed it so that you can it doesn't take quite as long as, for example, PoE did to finish. I mean, I've got over 90 hours in that, and I'm still not finished with it yet. But it's designed to have way more flexibility in the routes that you take, as far as I'm aware. Wait, we didn't speak to this person, did we? Don't bother with me. Go down to the pass. Drastus. The soldier clutches his gut and winces. You can see a hint of entrails between his fingers. You're wounded, and it's not trivial. He laughs through clenched teeth. This? But a scratch. I've seen twice as worse 10 times over. He doubles over in pain, gagging, and shivering. Keep hold of your guts then. Farewell. He releases his wounds to flash you a pained salute. Hail Kairos. There he is. Goodbye. We can take that mushroom. No, not one to leave a mushroom behind. Alrighty, let's do this.
Try and catch me, worm.
A young Scarlet Fury weaves around the Vendrian Guard attackers, avoiding their weapons with fluid grace. She nods to acknowledge you. The Scarlet Furies are the elite fighters of the Scarlet Chorus. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. The Sun Soldier. A breathless enemy soldier pauses a glance to a countryman. This one's crazy. Too much lead in her water. We should cut our losses and turn back.
Fate finder. Here at last. Care to join me in putting these cowards out of their misery?
Oh yes, I will. For the realm of Apex, charge! The Vendrian Guard level their weapons and advance. Well, take this. Let's see what we got. We can go for the Sunder, I suppose. It's a decent place to start. Zoom right in and see that lovely mace attack. And then we might as well go for this there. Oh, look at that javelin coming in. And then, of course, I believe... Boom. See you later. Let's take this one down as quickly as we can. And then we'll go and use the Blood-Soaked Stone on the final combatant there. Go, go, go. Oh, okay. Boom, look at that. And that is all they wrote. PoE is narrow but long, Tyranny is shorter but wider. Yeah, that sounds about fair. Phew, I can tell you didn't spend the conquest in the diplomat's tent. The fighter surveys the fresh corpses and nods with satisfaction.
I'm versed, by the way. But there are more important things to take care of than introductions. Those Vendrian Guard we killed didn't come alone.
She gestures to the skirmish unfolding in the pass below, shaking her head. Well, I'm ready if you are.
Eager. I like that. Before we go, you might search among the remains of our fallen comrades. Wherever they're bound, I doubt they'll miss their boots, much less any rings or any useful iron they might be clutching.
Rings, eh? Is this the currency? Rings offered promise of shared economy. Standardized currency. Okay, well I see your point. Nice and practical.
No reason to pity the fallen. Before long, we might wish we'd joined in here. But at least we'll enjoy heavy pockets and warm toes. For the voices of Nerat!
How fantastic is the aesthetic in this game, though? It really looks amazing. Alright, let's see what we got here then. Oh, look! These pre-order things, are they? Tenacity, eh? +2 resolve. Well, don't mind if I do. And what are they? These are light armor boots. Let's see. Remove a hostile effect on kill? Yeah, I guess so. Why not? Didn't we find a little helmet or something as well? Did that end up in the stash, maybe? There it is. We might as well take it. Whoops, did I not equip? What the... What did I just do with it then? Oh, wait, there you go. That is insane. Do we want to show his beautiful face tattoos off? No, keep it as a surprise for later. Alright, let's do this then. She wants to chat, but not just yet. I think we've got adventuring to crack on with, haven't we? Eyes forward, no looking back. The Vendrian Guard warrior roars with his falx held high, his words largely lost over the din of combat. Queenslayer! The warrior rears back his swinging arm as the invective hisses off his tongue. I've long dreamed of laying claim to your skull. So nice of you to present yourself. We've gained loyalty with Verse. You just arrived at camp and already they gave you a title. Impressive. As he signals his men to charge, the sound of chanting rises from the south, drawing his attention. Scarlet Chorus reinforcements. Hurry. Ah, there they are, look. Run down the Oathbreakers, let none escape. From the red mob of reinforcements from the south, a blood chanter emerges at the head of the rabble, the ornamental crest of her staff pulsing with crimson tones. Signing sigils of magic and wordlessly moving her mouth, the blood chanter scribes a series of spells into the air. A red glow surrounds the Vendrian Guard warriors as the chanter's magic worms its way into their minds, blinding them with rage. Hold position, all of you! You there, keep to the path! The warrior gestures along the canyon trail, but his soldiers turn their attention to the Scarlet Chorus, roaring challenges. No, don't engage them! We need to run! His orders falling on deaf ears, the warrior reluctantly readies his weapon. Don't worry, buddy, we'll make it quick. Okay, so yep, companion combos, we did that before, which was pretty nice. So we'll leave these guys down there to do what they're doing. Bastion, eh? Well, I think what we'll do is we'll sunder his armour. Now, what might she have that's worth doing? What does that do? Skewer. Oh, there's a cooldown active on that, apparently. Thrust both weapons in, and this is a burning arrow that sets foes on fire. Well, that sounds like a delightful move. Let's see that. There we go. So the armour is sundered. He's now on fire, and then Rag is in a fairly decent position, I would argue, to blast him with that, and she can also attempt to finish him off as well. Combat seems a little bit slower than it is in PoE. Not necessarily a terrible thing, but certainly a thing. Let's go for a quick finish on him, and then if Rag wants to thrust toward this guy there and finish him off as well, that'd be fairly decent. Okay, he didn't actually manage to drop him, but it shouldn't take too much longer, I shouldn't have thought. One more slice from Rag should do it. And there it is, and then we'll finish things off with a nice little companion attack there. Hopefully. On the ground. Ah, look at that, punch him right in the foot, that'll show him. I think that was it. Nice. Come quick, we have a situation on the cliffside. They have the commander. Cool. So, Norali85 just fetched some Persian saffron chicken. That sounds good. I had myself a pastrami Swiss cheese bagel. We didn't have any pickles or mustard, so I just had to toast it. She has stances, so you know characters are very flexible in Tyranny, way more so than in PoE. Oh, okay, cool. And that's definitely worth knowing, actually. Let's have a look then. Stances, you say? Oh yeah, look. So she's got a bonus to her next attack, equal to 50% of the damage received from attackers, but she loses dodge and parry ability. That sounds quite dangerous. She can add dodge. Is that always? That's always. Unbound and Mocking Iron are also empowered. Well, what is that then? Increases the range of the Unbound ability, adds a parry penalty to Mocking Iron targets. I don't know if those are abilities that we are yet to unlock. Yeah, perhaps. Or she can gain accuracy. Well, right now, since there's no tank, I think that's a good stance for her. Also, she actually changes her stance. That's really, really cool.
Just point me in the right direction. I see as the crow flies.
I really like that. That's a nice touch.
Let them think they can hit me.
Right then, let's go and loot over here. And we'll see what's going on. Well, we have a head wrap. Is that any better than what she has? Well, let's find out. Especially if she has nothing. Which is the case. There you go. Her hair's mint. Alright. Let's do this. What are you doing? You'll draw attention to me. Be quiet. Let's see. These boots are better for deflection. No, I don't think so. I think what she's got is good. Alright. This is the situation unfolding by the cliffs. Pellux Tyrell. Stow your weapons or we find out how long a man screams before hitting the ravine down below. Cornered between a precipitous drop and a band of angry soldiers, the Oathbreaker warrior holds a disfavoured officer at knife point. Skewer him! Worry not for me. Graven Ash will protect. The disfavoured officer winces, blood seeping from the seams of his braces and cuirass. You heard the man. He plainly invited you to use that little blade of yours. What are you waiting for? Permission from your pimp? This blade. With a jerk of the knife, he slices off a clump of Drastus's matted hair. If you're so eager to see your ally dead, just step closer. Well, we can use an athletics skill here, so I think we will. Lower your weapon, then charge forward and wrest the knife from him. Do it. We've gained favour with the Scarlet Chorus and the disfavoured and athletic skill experience. The Oathbreaker cracks a wide smile as you lower your weapon. That's right, now the rest of you, drop those weapons. With his attention on the other warriors, you dash forward. He reaches out with his dagger to slay Drastus, but your hand is already on his wrist. With a wrenching twist, you mangle his hand, dropping the dagger harmlessly to the ground. The disfavoured warriors rush forward from either side of you. Tyrell barely manages a strained gasp before being hacked and impaled upon their swords and spears. Good night. Kairos be praised. That Oathbreaker fought with the rage of Cairn himself. Cairn is the mountainous Archon of Stone, accompanying the disfavoured on various conquests. Drastus slides a trembling hand along the cut on his neck. Thank you, Fatebinder. I thought today was my last. From the look of it, I guess they thought if they swarmed the pass, maybe one might make it out. We found a few scraps of parchment on the bodies. Drastus holds out a handful of crumpled parchments for your inspection. A student of letters such as yourself should be able to make sense of this. Let's examine them. Repeating the same messages in different written scripts, the parchments explain the Vendrian Guard's desire to overthrow Kairos' Archons and rout their armies from the tiers. The pages aren't addressed to any specific reader, but rather openly invites all who remain loyal to the Younger Realms to gather at Vendrian's Well. Recruitment material. They were trying to bring more traitors to the fight. Well, from the look of it, we kept them from slipping out of the valley. Whatever they hoped to accomplish, I think their plan died here. The Archons are expecting you. When you're ready, leave by the gate to the southeast and follow the trails down slope for a few hours. You'll see the campfires leagues away. Can't miss it. Wow, that is pretty good stuff. And here we found some bangles. We have found a falx. And then the note. And some meat. So let's see. Do I mind gameplay mechanic hints, or shall I shut up about that? Of course I don't mind. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. As long as we keep things story and plot spoiler free for myself and anybody else watching who hasn't, played the game yet, absolutely don't mind. In fact, I welcome it and encourage it. So there. I think social gaming is an incredibly fun way to game. And you can absolutely play a game like this socially, involving things like that. Like, my first playthrough of PoE is the one that I'm just working on at the moment, live streaming. And it's my first ever playthrough of it properly. And the guys in chat show up regularly and, are big fans of the game and offer little hints and tips and stuff. And it's really cool. I think it's a great way to explore a game, so absolutely. Let's see. What's going on over here? The prisoner says his name's Tarkis Demos. Drastus lets out a long sigh, tapping his gauntleted finger to his temple. Then I don't think this is a complicated matter. He dies. His family's been a driving force in the Vendrian Guard. Killing him should demoralise whatever's left of the Tarkis clan. But we must offer the enemy redemption. Well, save for their inbred nobles. Just ask the Queen Slayer. The chanter lets out a hearty chuckle through an incomplete set of teeth. But corpses can't serve the chorus, so while mercy always pains me, it is what the voice of Nerat commands. We'd let you take prisoners, but you can't control them. You send these conscripts out on patrol and they never return, defecting all over again. I can't let this nonsense strategy continue. Well, I insist this oathbreaker be taken to the voices of Nerat, leaving us at an impasse. Fortunately, we have a Fatebinder here to settle the matter for us. The chanter turns to you, an expectant smile creeping across her face. So, what say you? What should become of this prisoner? Well, what gives? Last I was here, the disfavoured showed a little more mercy to the enemy. The commander lets out a long sigh as he touches the wound by his neck. These filthy hill people spat on the surrender. We were fools to ever treat them as anything more than violent children. Mercy is what got us into this protracted fight. Let's not continue this mistaken strategy. The chorus should be allowed its chance to recruit new warriors. We gained favour and we gained wrath. Delicious. This is some sort of nonsense that got us into the mess we're in now. If we keep showing these Mongols mercy, they'll just bite us time and time again. If it will calm your nerves, I assure you this one won't be put on the battlefield. The mage snaps her fingers loudly, gesturing for a gang to listen. Make sure the prisoner is taken straight to the voices of Nerat. I won't keep you here any longer, Fatebinder. I know you have important business in the valley. Drastus salutes you, his iron gauntlet rapping against his breastplate. For the glory of Kairos. And that's about it for today's episode, guys. Thanks very much for checking it out. Don't forget to subscribe for the channel for more. Drop me a comment below. Let me know what you think of the videos. Drop them a like if you enjoy them, or a dislike if you don't. And why not follow me on twitch.tv/SerboDodger, where you can catch the whole thing and much, much more live. Thanks a lot.